Hello and welcome to Guild Guide, this show where we explore what's new on Dungeon Masters Guild. I'll be your host, William Bosley. This is episode 3, and we've been having some technical difficulties, but we're trying to power through them and make everything work out. So, well, let's see now. Please bring that up now. Today we're actually starting with the Sorcerous Power. Now that did not. Oh yeah, that's another thing. Technical difficulties have made it to where today is actually covering the 16th. Yesterday was the 17th. Day before yesterday was the 16th. Yesterday, because we were at the store, we were not able to stop and do the reviews for the coronavirus problem. We were at the store and there was just chaos, and finding what we needed was nearly impossible. So, but in the meantime, I was not able to, do an episode yesterday, so I'm going to do 2 episodes today, or I'm going to try to. It's so late at this point, for me anyway. But we're gonna see what I can do. But like I said, we're gonna start with Sorcerous Power today because another mess up yesterday or day before yesterday, whenever I did that episode. I failed to include this one. It was the very last one for the day, and I know I had it open, but the problem was somehow I must have gotten, you know, I must have closed a tab or something, because you'll see in a minute I'm gonna have a bunch of tabs up, and that's how I go through every single one that is released. I'm starting in the PDF with this one though, because this one is, the PDF was available, and I went ahead and downloaded it. And I think that they need a little bit of extra attention because I messed up and didn't give them the correct attention they deserved. So we're gonna start off first with this one. It's got the, it's basically a really cool. Without further ado, it's really cool. Basically, a series of classes, new classes, as it says. The Arcanist, Cultist, Theurge, and Wilder. I'm not exactly sure. Theurge, whatever. Basically, these are 4 classes that kind of, honestly, almost. Yeah, see the camera went down again. That it's just been doing that. I can't seem to get it to stay up for some reason. I've got to go through a little IP app on my cell phone. I'm using my cell phone as my camera, and it just doesn't want to stay connected for some reason, and I have no idea why. But anyway, so yeah, basically how this thing works is that it's got these 4 different classes that sort of replace, not really, they definitely replace the sorcerer. They sort of kind of fill the role of the wizard and the warlock and the sorcerer, and I forget what the 4th one kind of is flavored towards. Daggers, darts, slings, quarterstaff, like crossbow. Draws on inherent power derived from a potent magical bloodline. Magical experimenter who modifies spells as needed. But basically, these seem to they all work really well. That's the first thing, is that they all seem to be very well designed. And I can see, basically, they all use spell slots like a sorcerer does. And so I can see, if you really like the way that sorcerers work, if your party does, if they all want to play sorcerers, then this is a great supplement for you. You could get this, bring it to your party, have everybody make a different kind of sorcerer, basically. And then each sorcerer has, sort of like subclasses here. Each of these different types of sorcerers have subclasses here. So you've got them. This one is very interesting because it uses an arcane, arcanist implements. It's got a rod implement where they can use it as like a melee weapon and stuff like that, and force strike, things like that. They've got an orb which allows them to see things, like sense things and stuff like that. Protective Dwayumer. I'm not sure what that means, or what that word comes from, but or how to pronounce it. But yeah, Tome implement, spellcasting focus. This one's kind of like a wizard where you're able to gather spells and things like that. So this one's all about sort of arcane focuses that do different powers. That's the one specifically that was like the wizard. So it's not a whole class here that's like a wizard. That subclass kind of felt like a wizard. And then the cultist is very much like a kind of like a warlocky kind of sorcerer, using idols and fighting styles and Eldritch Surge, other sight. It's this is a really cool one. It's got different rights like surging resonance. Whenever you activate a surge using your Eldritch Surge ability, your weapon also comes with otherworldly energy, dealing an additional 2 thunder damage for a number of rounds equal to your Sorcerous Power. Bonus proficiencies, instant speaker. Basically, yeah, you should go through this if that's what you're looking for. I think going through it anymore is wasting time, because that is the overview. Really, is that this is fantastic if you are looking for new flavor for sorcerers. If you're a player who's been playing sorcerers and you love playing sorcerers, but you're looking for something new, this is for you. If you're someone who is a DM and you're tired of all of your players playing sorcerers and they're all just subclasses of sorcerer, then this is for you to introduce to your players, see if they can get on board, if they like the idea, and if they want to do it. Because I can tell you this stuff is really well balanced. Like these classes are very well balanced. You could throw them in. If they're anything, they're slightly on the like a little leaning toward powerful side. But as a DM, you just counter that. Throw in some more powerful monsters and you'll be fine. If you find that that's the case, don't do it from the start. I may be, some of them are not overpowered or anything like that, or even remotely. But yeah, it's 59 pages, which is crazy. And it's pay what you want, so you can get it for $1 before, or for $0 before you know what you want, that you want it. Once you get it, take a look at it, go over all of it. I can't believe I missed this on another episode because it's so interesting. But once you know for sure that you want to use it, come back in here and throw some money at them. That's 59 pages. They suggest $10. That's not much. Like, people suggest 20 cents per page. So this should be over $10, really, if you're doing 20 cents per page. If you exclude maybe if you exclude like the credits page or something like that. That's what I do, by the way. I exclude my extended credits page at the end if I use Creative Commons art. I've got a page at the end, and I exclude that whenever I do my pricing. But yeah, they've got other stuff here that all seems great. And this right here is just huge. Oh, let me, I just realized I am still stuck on that screen. I need to turn that off so you can see yeah, there we go. So yeah, this right here is, yeah, so it's by Austin Miller, $10, pay what you want. They've got multiple other supplements available. And it's a really great one. I would definitely take a look at it if you are looking for sorcerers stuff. But anyway, yeah, so on to what is actually first released for the 16th. That would be the Blood Hunter Order of the Devil's Tears. Now, this is actually this creator, Jacob Barrett, has made multiple, a lot of different subclasses here that are all of similar quality. I've found, but it's zero. They're pay what you want, so $0, but they suggest $1 for 2 pages. Makes sense. They're basically rounding up, but if it was 20 cents per page, it would not be that much, but they're rounding to the nearest dollar, basically, which is a very normal, reasonable thing to do. Oh yeah, I still have this up from before. That was just that was something that someone comped me. I talked about it last time I was on here, and yeah, they sent me. I'm gonna go back to this at the end of the video here and talk about it some more. But yeah, so Order of the Devil's Tears. Now this one's got its own DC and AC. Oh my gosh, yeah, viewing it a little wrong again. Let me go back to Adobe, because that's apparently how my app has to work. Order of the Devil's Tears, saving throw DC and attack modifier. This applies to everything else. So this particular one is a very interesting one to me. Okay, they've got basically what I got this vibe from this one while reading through it, that, and you'll get it as soon as you read this text right here. Double jump. I mean, trigger strike may have not been the same vibe, but once you see double jump, you start seeing trigger strike, you start seeing this kind of repeating kind of flavor to it. And that is that this has clearly been created by someone who really plays a lot of video games. And that made me think Devil's Tears. Now I'm thinking Devil May Cry. And I personally feel like that all ended up being fairly accurate as you go through. And then that's not a downside. That's just you'll end up finding if you really, if that's what you're looking for, especially, then you'll like this. If you're not looking for that, you'll still probably enjoy this. This is a really cool Blood Hunter, basically order, and it's very cool. It's got like double jump is literally what you think it is. When you jump in the air, you create a field, an invisible platform that you can jump off of, and things like that. And trigger strike is you can in your crimson right early to gain a burst of magical power. The effect is dependent on the type of crimson right sacrifice for this ability. So with the if you're not aware, with the Blood Hunter, it's a Matt Mercer class. You can you can start these blood rights. I believe some of them cost hit points. I don't remember anymore. I haven't looked at the class in a while. I actually had it open to look at. Let me see if I've still got it open on the website. No, I don't. I'm not sure where I had that, but anyway, yeah. So basically, though, this one is it's very interesting. Aerial maneuvers adds additional jumping and the ability to sort of do like a dash. So by the way, what I was thinking immediately after I saw the double jump and then the aerial maneuvers is that's basically Super Smash Brothers double jump ability, because while it's just any double jump ability right off the bat, then you can move 30 feet in a straight line in a direction of your choice. Immediately I thought of Fox's little dash thing. I forget what it's called. But yeah, basically it's that's what I'm seeing here. That's what I'm thinking here as I see it. But then Devil Trigger eventually has that Devil May Cry feel to it, and so I really do think this is a huge fan of video games who created this one, and that's not a downside. It does seem to have a lot of features. I think I compared it. I compared it ahead of time to the Blood Hunter, and most of these are part of this trigger strike. You might notice these are all, requires Rite of the Oracle. When you end Rite of the Oracle, basically, you activate this feature. Is when you end it as part of your trigger strike, then you get to activate this feature. When you end the Rite of the Flame as part of your trigger strike, you get to use this feature. And that's really interesting to me. But so it looks like a lot of extra features, like maybe they overdid it. But in reality, if you go compare to the Blood Hunter, they have the same number of features as the Blood Hunter itself. But yeah, I'm spending probably too much time here, and I need to go back to the website and take a look at the next one. But yeah, Jacob Barrett, very, very reasonable. And again, get it for free. Come back when you've played it, when you've just had fun creating a character as it. Come back, throw money at them. 50 cents if you just made a character, a dollar because 50 cents I think is the minimum. But whatever it is, that's whatever you want to do. If you just created a character and you felt like you had fun, I mean, even you put a quarter into a machine and you get a gumball. I mean, you can send something his way, or to DM's Guild, whatever. Universal spell points and high magic. This one is also very interesting. Now, we had that sorcery thing. This is not what that is. This is a totally different thing. This is not saying, oh, all spellcasters use spell points. This uses something else entirely. This uses mana to pay for your spells. I don't even really feel that I need to go into the actual supplement because they have great images here, but I will pull up the little full page view in a second. Basically, it's 8 pages. They're charging $2.99. If you ever felt like you didn't like the magic system in 5th edition with spell slots and stuff like that, and you wanted something more like where you have a certain amount of mana, you spend that mana, you can cast spells of the level. It's equal to, if you cast a first level spell, burns 1 mana. Cast 9th level spell, it burns 9 mana. That it's fairly simple, fairly straightforward, and this actually allows you to upgrade into 10th level spells, which is a cool little feature here. They have an explanation for full casters, half casters, and third casters. And they explain what those are up here. Full caster is Bard, Cleric, Druid, Sorcerer, Wizard. Half caster is Artificers, Paladins, Rangers. And they're beginning at specific levels, obviously. Third casting is Fighters for Eldritch Knights and Arcane Trickster Rogues. So yeah, it's very straightforward. Very simple thing to use. Honestly, I don't remember if this is all the pages or not. Yeah, this is 8 of the 9 pages. So they left out 1 page, maybe, or maybe the number of pages is inaccurate over there on the side. I'm not really sure, but basically, yeah, it's really Epic Wish spell variant, by the way, is another thing in here. They revamped Wish to be a 10th level spell instead of a 9th level spell, and because they felt like 9th level spell slots were more balanced, but this requires paying for to cast them was maybe too cheap or too easy or something like that. So they made it stronger. I don't know exactly why they did it, but yeah. And then they've got the Epic Wish, which is an even higher level one. So yeah, you can burn 10 mana, which is permanent. Permanently gets rid of your mana. And another thing about it is that you do get they made it to where there are two levels. Where is it? There are two levels of magic where there's like a threshold. I'm not sure where it is, but there's a threshold where lower level spells do not get you can cast lower level spells any number of times a day, and higher level spells you can only cast once per day. I think it's 6th level or higher. So they did balance it. It is well balanced. If you want to try this kind of thing, this is well done. And yeah, so Phil Kearney, Hilton Dave, Justin Johnston, and Ken Carcass I assume for $2.99. So if you're looking for this kind of thing, definitely come here. Look no further. This is great. Yeah. The next one would be the Slimmish, an amphibious race for D&D 5th edition by Yuval Davidovsky. I think I do have the PDF for this one, but this one I may not have to go switching screens and causing all that drama because it's fairly short. So I don't think I'll need to. But because it's just a playable race, and that means it's only 2 pages. And I think that it actually says that over there. Yeah, I had a glare on my screen, had to fix it. Okay, so the Slimmish is basically a sort of like, as they say here, it's like a dwarf. It's like a weird, quiet. Like it's very similar to the dwarves. It's quite similar to the dwarves, and it's very basically has froggish natures taking over time. Depending on which ability you choose down here. And that's I think I want to say. Or no, not based on ability you choose. I don't know what I'm talking about. That must have been a different. Oh yeah, it was. Yeah, that is lycanthropic traits. You get 2 extra features of your choice from the following list of features. Yeah, you choose 2 of these, and that your body is different, is slightly transformed, slightly toad-like from these things. You're always an amphibian. You're varied biology. Just says you're allowed to choose 2 racial features from this. But basically, yeah, you're always an amphibian. But other than that, you basically have very similar stuff to the dwarves with shorter life expectancy. I think you're also smaller. You might be a little shorter. But yeah, basically, yeah, you get to choose 2 from here, which is very interesting in my opinion. Although, forewarning, if you go look at this up, I just got to tell you, some of these are gross. So, full gastric aversion. I'm gonna now explain what that is. So be forewarned. That's whenever you throw up your intestinal tract out through your mouth. Animals actually do this. Specifically, I believe toads and some other animals. Very gross. That's just one of them. That's, I think, the most gross, to be honest. But some of these are kind of gross. So if you're not ready to play a gross character, then you're probably not wanting to play this. But if some of them are not as gross as others. So if you're just looking for a toad-like character, you can choose some of the other ones, or you can reflavor them maybe if you feel like you just can't stand them. But if you're looking for something very toad-like, this is great for that. But yeah, they're saying pay what you want, 50 cents. Go ahead and download it, make one for fun, or make NPCs based on this concept. Come back and throw 50 cents at them, maybe $1, something like that. This one is toilet paper, which is important because with the coronavirus, everyone's having trouble finding them. We managed to find some while shopping yesterday, whenever we were having all that trouble, at our local company that fortunately was open and ready for business with their products available. But yeah, we did not find it anywhere else. So, and we found, our food there too. So that's great. This one's only 72 cents. I don't know if that is because it is I think that's because it's something about the pricing. Yeah, price at 72 cents. So it costs the same as a single roll of 3-ply toilet paper, which is hilarious, in my opinion. The good stuff is what it says. So I've got toilet paper right over here. And yeah, down here, 1-ply, class options, Warlock Patron, the clean one. So this is actually really hilarious. This is definitely apt for the situation if you're currently running a one-shot. Oh, I just realized I've got nothing on the screen because I switched off of Adobe and have not shown anything. Yeah, so toilet paper by Finlam Elman, 72 cents, right here, because the same price as 3-ply toilet paper. I apologize for that little screen thing. I hate how that happens um, with Adobe. Hopefully you can see it now and everything is working. But yeah. Yeah. So basically what we're looking at here is toilet paper. Here we go. Now, I'm going to go ahead and switch back to Adobe, and we're going to take a look. So, 1-ply, class options. There's the cover. 1-ply class options. My bad. Warlock Patron, the clean one. The multiverse is a dirty place, and none understand it that more than the clean one. An ancient being that works meticulously to clean and preserve the working order of the universe. The sanitizing influence of this being has cleansed your mind of lesser purpose, filling you with power and the desire to clean. So yeah, create or destroy water, lesser restoration, create food and water, aura of purity, create or greater restoration. So yes, this is very much, if you're thinking in terms of what this is similar to, I guess you could say kind of like a cleric. These are all, I believe, cleric spells, which is great. Aura of purity, is that actually an original one in here? Or is that something else? Hygiene slime, sewage golem, toilet mimic, toilet paper golem. Okay, I didn't even scroll down far enough to see these somehow earlier. I don't know how I missed that. There are stat blocks in here, and there's toilet paper everywhere, by the way. This is great. But yeah, these are all going to be really fun to throw at your players during this. You could do a one-shot where you have people go to the store just during a major problem and just throw all these monsters at them, and maybe encourage 1 or 2 players to play this class or something like that. Maybe everyone to play the class, be exactly the same character, everyone. No. Yeah, basically at least one person playing this would be hilarious. Detect disease, keep it clean. So yeah, you're tied to the very nature of cleanliness begins to affect the creatures and environments around you. Your equipment tends to stay clean longer. Your companions are less dirty and smell better in your presence. Once per long rest, you may cast the spell pass without a trace, without consuming a spell slot, as you focus your cleansing energies on removing all traces of your movement. So if you thought this was going to be just completely stupid, it's not. This is not just a joke. It is great. It's not just, it's taking itself seriously at the same time as being completely comedic and hilarious. So you do actually gain powers. I don't know, if it's super, like if you're going to use it in every single campaign you'll ever do, but or if you'll be underpowered in any way like that, because there's a lot of things about flavor here more than over trying to make it powerful or viable, in the long term. But it would definitely work in a one shot. Definitely work as a fun adventure, and I would definitely suggest trying it out, because during your time whenever you are self self what do you call it, quarantining. So yes, we're gonna go ahead and turn that off. Go back to the website and go to the next one. But yeah, that's Finlam Elman. So yeah. And they comped me that copy, by the way. That was very nice of them. We were right at the last minute we got it in, so that was great. This one is the Bloodsworn. I did not get to download this one. I did not get it comped. This one, however, does look very good based on what they have in there. Pages 17, Ben Klimek, PDF $3. The Bloodsworn flavor and mechanics described here is essentially it's a monster hunt. They're Bloodsworn are monster hunters and they risk their lives. Blah blah blah. I'm trying to see where it said it again. It basically, oh yeah, here we go. pop culture elements like Van Helsing meets The Witcher and Matt Mercer's Blood Hunter class. So what this is essentially this dungeon master, Ben Klimek, decided at some point while running a campaign to, this was before, I believe, based on the release date, I'm going to assume this was before and the fact that they've played all the way through level 6 down here, they say, during their playtesting. That this released probably before the newest update to the Blood Hunter release that Matt Mercer uh, uh, probably, I think it was less than a month ago, or maybe a month ago, something like that. Maybe it was around Christmas. I don't remember. It was a long time. Time has been moving fast. But basically, the Bloodsworn was it is like a version of that class that has been tweaked and altered fairly heavily. Let's go ahead and look into it. I'm just making you look at a blank screen while I talk, and that could have been averted. But yeah, Bloodsworn, there they are. These are really cool art, by the way. I don't know where they got this from because I don't think they credited an artist. Oh, just artist is Ben Klimek. Okay, well, maybe Ben made these. If so, kudos. These are awesome. But yeah. So anyway, so this one has sworn resilience rather than completely relying on their hit points all the time. This one uses sworn resilience instead. Now I don't know if that other blood hunting class, this one over here, the Blood Hunter Order of the Devil's Tears, I don't know if it would be compatible, but it might be. It might require you to do some home brewing and some tweaking. Ben, if you're watching this and you hear my suggestion here, I'd say contact Jacob and see if Jacob will very quickly allow either you to create them and send them to Jacob, or have Jacob create them himself, but a variant rule for each of the abilities in there, or for the whole class, to work with your Bloodsworn, because that's a little teamwork would actually work out great. You can maybe sell it as a bundle if you do that together. But anyway, Sworn Resilience here is basically a pool of points similar to, in a way, honestly, over here, the universal spell points. But you're not casting spells with them. You're just using you're using the Blood Hunter style abilities. But they've completely retooled everything to work like that. I think they were trying to avoid uh, TPK, or not TPKs, but death of their characters, just because they're sacrificing their hit points. Yeah, but basically, um, damage die, blah, 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 from your resilience. You spend your resilience to do things. But just so you know, it does not lose the flavor of taking damage to use its abilities, because once you run out of those points, you do start using your hit points. And in this one, you use your hit points at twice the cost. So you're not losing that flavor. You're just getting a buffer before you get to the point where you start taking your damage. So you don't start off every single battle and start taking damage. And maybe I'm behind on the Blood Hunter. Maybe that's actually more like what the Blood Hunter works like now, for all I know. But basically, this is, I believe, all unique to this, and it seems very, very interesting. Um, but it doesn't go much further than that. I couldn't see more. I wasn't comp to copy because I couldn't find them on Twitter to even let them know that I was going to be talking about it today. Fighting styles and all that kind of stuff are very similar. So Ben also has come out with Psylocke and Cleric. Oh, yeah, I usually show that, or I usually try to on the toilet paper. So you want to be a slime is down here. But yeah, Blood Hunter is got Psylocke and Cleric of the Beast domain, which are very interesting. And I have not looked at them all the way, so I can't really give you a review on them, but I thought I'd show it off. Anyway, Ben Klimek, it's $3. Like I said, 17 pages. 15 pages would be 20 cents per page at $3. So you're getting 2 extra pages for free. You can think of it that way, or you can say maybe they didn't charge you for the cover and maybe the credits page or the legals page or whatever. But anyway, Grim Harvestide. This one is an adventure. Local festival reveals a dark secret. It's 250. It's 24 pages by David Sklenicka. My bad, Sklenicka. For adventures, 3 to 8 hour adventure for levels 6 to 8. And this one, with adventures, I try not, because I don't know who my audience is going to be. I currently have very few. I see there's one person in the chat who's watching the show, but that's about it. So I don't have a major audience yet, and so I don't know if I'm going to have players or DMs watching my show specifically. So I try not to go into adventures so I don't spoil them too much or anything like that for players, because they may look at it, say that sounds cool, and then go to their DM saying they want to play it, and if they do that, but they're already spoiled, then that ruins it. But basically, yeah. So this is for 6th to 8th level. Parties of 7th level characters, and basically is what the target is. Written for a 3-hour game night. I run adventures slow, so I might take them a little bit more than that. They include even how long it should take per section, which is great. Unless your player, of course, goes to a door. Your players go to a door and they're scared to open a door for an hour because they think it might be trapped. Then that throws that off. But anyway, the people of Deep Hollow. This has got a whole bunch of information here about the world. It's very well done, very well formatted. I can tell you this is like like a Adventures League style quality kind of thing that you're getting into. They even have pronunciation guides for things, which is great. This is high quality stuff right here. But yeah. So yeah, if you're looking for a well-made adventure, this person, David, has created this one, Grim Harvestide, and it looks like it's David's first one, and so definitely look forward to this, because David apparently creates high quality stuff when making adventures. So keep an eye on David. The Curse of Blackwood Manor is the next one. Once again, another adventure. This one's 119. Now, that tells me it's probably in a different currency translated into the American dollar for me. Billy Millard is the one who created this. Also, 3 to 4 hours long. If you're looking for adventures to play while you're at home during the coronavirus, go ahead and take a look at all these. These are great. Blackwood Manor is specifically a very I don't want to spoil anything for this one, because it's very it's mystery, and if I should tell you anything, I could spoil it. Just showing you that might spoil it for a player, but basically, yeah, it's well done. It doesn't do the side by side, so page count may be a little bit inaccurate toward what you expect. 19 pages at 2 columns is more like almost 30 pages at 1 column. So yeah. Uh, Basically, it may be a little bit off, but that's what you're getting there. 19 pages for 119, and it seems very good. It does do a little. There was this one part where it talks about. It just says any attempts to leave through the front door will fail. That feels like there was this part in Curse of Strahd where that happened in the Death House, and I was like, why just say that? I mean, I understand you want that to happen, but why not give some kind of mechanical or flavor reason why it's happening? So, but that's okay. Other than that, like if you're okay with that kind of thing, if it's like Curse of Strahd, so in that regard, so that's that's not knocking it. That's one of the most highly praised supplements. It's just my personal taste is that I would prefer a explanation for those kinds of things. But yes, this one seems very interesting, and the Dungeon Master Billy has already run it multiple times, so it should be well balanced and well constructed and have everything you need in it. So Way of the Druid is the next one. This one is really it's a very large one. It's 65 pages. It suggests $6.95 to buy, or not suggests, it is $6.95. DM Conclave has created it. That's a group of people that I believe, are working together to do this kind of stuff. They've got great art. They've got it all displayed down here. I'm just going to scroll down and take a look at it because it's very cool. Like this is a mermaid and all this kind of stuff. Very awesome. More from the titles while we're down here. I'll just show off that real quick before I scroll back up. But they've got lots of stuff here. But anyway, this one is all about druids. It's character options for 5th edition druids. It seems very well done, very well put together. A few words by the creators. This talks about it and things like that. It talks about this supplement is not just about character options. It's about like some of the stuff, while it is, the players will read it and understand the circle of iron, the circle of blood, the circle of arachnids, the circle of the sea, and the circle of the elements. These are all descriptions of these different circles, and giving the history in the present case. Hierarchy, it talks about how these different druids, how different levels of druids are within their circles. Um, Now, some of this stuff, of course, is very world builder. It's world building. So if you're a DM and this doesn't fit your world, then that may not be very super helpful for you, but it could inspire you to come up with something on your own. They've got druid factions in here too: the Emerald Enclave, the Hive, the Shadow Circle. But they're plug and play. You can take this kind of stuff and put it right into your adventure. And then they've got the character backgrounds: Nature's Bulwark, Lorekeeper, Scavenger. Those are basically, yeah, those are actually character background options that are built for druids, but they can potentially fit other classes and things like that as well. Like the cleric of nature is could easily do one of those, for example. Circle of Iron, Circle of the Brood, Circle of the Arachnid, Circle of the Sea, and Circle of the Elements. It's 5 different new circles of druids. So that's fantastic. They also have a bunch of new druid spells. Now, I couldn't look at this entire thing, so unfortunately I don't know all of the details about all of this stuff. They've got druidic equipment with special weapons and armor and shields, adventuring gear, artifacts. They've got herbs and a little bit of like an herbal system in here, and giant insects, walking, swimming, and flying, which is for the circles. But the only circle they have in here, unfortunately for me to look at in detail, is the Circle of Iron. Let's see, where did that thing go? Druid Circles, Circle of Iron. This one seems very interesting. I really like the flavor here. Now, they do have some, if you're trying to keep it PG, if you're going to buy this for a kid or something like that, you may want to be aware they have some it's not fully lewd, not fully, nude scene, but she's covered up. But they've got that kind of stuff in here. So if you're planning on buying this for a kid, keep that in mind. Or if you play with children or what have you, keep that in mind for this one. But yeah, Circle of Iron it's very interesting. It's got a lot of cool concepts, especially. I feel like magnetism may need some rulings or tweaks personally, because what it does is it allows you to, for 1 minute, you magnetize an object, and a creature has to make, holding that object or whatever, must succeed on a strength saving throw against your spell DC, or move with the object according to your desires for 1 minute. So, like their armor, for example, it's a cool idea, really awesome. Level 10, you get it at 10th level. Now, here's where it starts to break down, in my opinion. The object moves with a speed of 90 feet per turn, and you must use a bonus action to direct it. The object can be moved to any direction within 150 feet of you. That means you could drop people off cliffs. Awesome. That means you could move people into spikes, that kind of thing. You could throw people in lava. You could drown them. You could do a lot of things with this. The one thing that I think is the problem is the 90 feet per turn part. Is that is a very broad range, and if you move someone straight up into the air 90 feet, and then you drop them, then they take 9d6 damage. I usually deduct their jump height from it before I calculate that, which is not an official rule. That's my homebrew ruling kind of thing, because I feel like you can take some amount of height damage, but like 90 feet in the air, that's 96 damage just on a whim. And the thing about that is you can do that every single turn for 1 minute. If they fail that strength save, you can kill this creature in seconds, in just a couple of turns. Move it 90 feet up, drop it. 90 feet up, drop it. 90 feet up, drop it. And you've done so much bludgeoning damage to that creature from their fall. The only thing that doesn't work on is freaking flying creatures. That's it. So I do think this particular one needs some tweaking. And if I were running this at home, I would allow this class 100%, but I would reduce that to 30 feet per turn, because then it takes 3 turns to get to 9d6 damage. I don't know that this is even concentration, by the way. If this doesn't require concentration, then you can just keep going, bringing them up. As I don't see anything involving concentration, because it's not a spell. It's a feature. So you just keep on bringing them up and up and up and up and up and up and up until, every single round 90 feet would be crazy. 30 feet may be more balanced. But anyway, if you later on, I don't know about the other ones. I would love to have gotten comped this copy in particular, because I feel like I dug into that one in particular. And it may be that this is the only one of the circles that has any kind of problem with that, like that. But because it's the only one I can see, now it makes it look like maybe that's all of their stuff, and I'm sorry if that's not the case. I'm sorry if that's affecting it that way. But I had to point that out, is that, this one could potentially be broken. You're gonna need to do some home brewing, in my opinion. You're gonna need to be doing some rulings at home if you go and use this one, in my opinion. Um, but yeah, but I do think that it is worth the $6.95 for what it has, because creating something from scratch is hard. Doing a couple tweaks like that, making it shorter distance, moving every turn, that's easy. So I do think it's worth it to get it, and I do think that with all the other stuff, the lore they have in there, the circles, the different everything they have in here, it's fantastic, and I think you should definitely consider it. It's by the DM Enclave, and it's called The Way of the Druid. Next one is The Way of the Sly Teacher. Now this one is on the flip side. That one, is actually this one is pay what you want, $1.95. I downloaded it, took a look at it. I have it in PDF. I can switch to it in a second, but it's Pierrick Simon, The Way of the Sly Teacher. It is in fact a monk, subclass. This people who bought that have also bought this, but this creator has not created anything else yet. This is their first foray. And with the art, I think that you can kind of sort of tell that it's the first foray. But let me tell you that that's misleading. That is their attempt at putting art on there, because you need to have art on things to sell a lot of the time. But let me just pull this up, because it is actually very well balanced and very interesting. Now the thing about it is, essentially, the vibe I get is, this is a monk. Sorry, that's a little too far. You won't be able to read that. A monk that is like myself, like a millennial monk, maybe Gen Z monk that is gaining enlightenment through essentially just being a millennial or something eventually. So thematically it feels like that to me, and it's kind of funny, but no, the mechanically though, it is very interesting, because it is a monk that specializes in charisma, and and wisdom, like a monk normally does wisdom, and then it also has charisma, and so it's a little bit unique. I don't remember, I can't think of any monks that do that yet, so that's kind of interesting. It's like a monk that is gaining enlightenment by they actually give a better description of that, by the way. Sly Teacher is a guardian of the performative way to enlightenment. They believe that when it comes to reaching enlightenment, to fake it is to make it. For this reason, they are both deceiving and insightful. Their ironic detachment transforms the way they relate to the world so radically that they are able to seize unexpected moments to strike, move, or shake the sanity of their adversaries. Detachment allows them to react with incredible speed as an unenlightened confusion of their opponents deepens. As the unenlightened confusion of their opponents deepens. So that's what I mean by it's detachment. It's they're shut in. They're basically they're not they're not basically very outgoing or well, they're outgoing, they're charismatic, but they're not they're not connected to the world. They have that kind of detachment that millennials seem to have, for the most part. Their opponent, it's like like a, you know what I mean. But anyway, yeah. So, and of course, they're deepening their unenlightened confusion of their opponents. Deepens, is like the news constantly being like, "Why are millennials doing this? Avocado toast, whatever." Anyway, the point is that battle manipulation is a really cool feature here. Is that you manipulate lesser adversaries, those who have a comparatively weaker reactivity. If a creature comes after you in the initiative order, you can use the following abilities against them. So anyone who's after you in initiative. So this is going to be someone you're also going to want to get Dex with. So you're going to want to get Dex, Charisma, Wisdom. It's going to be a little bit of a weird split here. You may even have to sacrifice Wisdom in this case or something. I don't really know. But basically, these are, you pay key, you get an effect, and you can choose, and each one of them is based on a different situation. Like you can exploit their lack of reactivity to have a better chance of hitting them. You can spend 2 key points to gain advantage on an attack roll against a creature. You must declare that you are using this ability before you make the roll. You can, in fact, use more than one of these on a single person, on a single creature. Whether or not, for example, I didn't look to see. I was wondering actually just now if maybe you can end up doubling these up. I'm not totally certain, but I don't believe you can. I read through them all, and I would think I would have noticed that if I was reading it while I was reading it before. But basically, some of these are reactions at the bottom, or this one forces someone to use their reaction, which is great. This one, as a reaction, you can spend a key point. I think this also has a reaction. No, yeah, when you're as you're leaving a creature's reach, spend 1 key point to compel a creature to take take an opportunity attack against you. So this one you can use your reaction for it. This one you can force them to do a reaction. It's very cool. Let's see. The world is a stage. Ironic distance. Again, very millennial. Let's see what it means for a statement to be true, thus making you immune to truth-seeking powers, any magical effect or innate ability, which would allow a creature to determine whether or not you are lying. The effect here is like all about lying, but ironic distance just feels very millennial. But 2 steps ahead, you start feeling like an actor who is free to get deeply involved in the performing arts because, and not in spite of the fact that they are detached from the suffering of the drama. So basically, yeah, it definitely gets into it. It's very charisma based monk, which is very unique, and or charisma encouraged monk, I suppose. So we're gonna go back to the next one and find out what we got here. So we're not even halfway through, and boy, it's 47 minutes. I wonder if got any new viewers? No, not really. Uncaged Anthology digital bundle. This one is pretty cool. It's an anthology of a bunch of different adventures. I can't go into the details of those adventures without spoiling anything, but there are a lot of them. I have, for an example here, I'll pull up and show you how many are just in this one. So you've got tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. Those are your level, like 1 through 5, 5 through 10, 10 through 15. I guess they don't have any tier 4, or maybe I've got the tiers wrong, but I'm not sure. But anyway, the point is that they've got these, a bunch of adventures here. That's just one of them. All of these anthologies have a huge number of them. I believe they are all or very largely written by women, and that's really cool. If you want to support game designers that are women, then you can do that by getting this one, because they are all sharing in these royalties, I'm sure. And the bundle reduces each of their prices down to $10 a piece, basically, to make it $39.96 total. And yeah, they've got fantastic art. They've got fantastic design. I heard nothing but good things about them, even though I have not been able to purchase them and look at them in detail myself. But I did look at a couple of their, their basically their previews here, which are 13 pages of, by the way, 236 pages. So you blow others out of the water. I mean, look at these credits page. Look at all these people who are in this thing. It's amazing. All it released today was a bundle. These are all older anthologies. You've probably heard of them before. You definitely have if you've heard of me, because I'm no one. I'm just new. But basically, yeah, they're amazing. I'm just trying to start a show that hopefully will get more traction toward DM's Guild, and if it doesn't, I don't know if I can keep it up, but here's to hoping. Anyway, this is 3 pages. Shardmind, new playable race for D&D 5th edition. Unfortunately, I might have to start speeding up because I have spent way too much time on the other ones, apparently. Because no one watches my show at 20 minutes. I doubt they'll watch it at longer, and I apologize to any creators that are after this. Because I'm gonna have to speed through it a little, like I did with the previous episodes. I got one down to 20 minutes, a little over 20 minutes, less than 30 minutes. Anyway, This one is really cool. Shardminds. They basically are a crystalline entity consciousness that broke off from a gateway to another plane that is capable of that attained sentience over time because of their magical properties and started growing themselves new bodies. I especially like this art. That looks fantastic. This one's pretty cool as well. I think it looks, I feel like an ice monster, but purple. I prefer this more sturdy, I mean, more like a style, what do you call it? Ordered design than this random one, but random is also awesome. And I would definitely make it an NPC with a random one. But these are really well done. I think they're really well created. I think they are very balanced. They're nothing to scoff at for sure. They've got it's only 3 pages, but it is a full playable race, 95 cents. That's all. So come take a look at it. You can get the Shardmind bundle with 11 other races in the Book of Uncommon Ancestry. It says right here. So if you're interested in this concept of the Shardmind, definitely come over here. Look at the other races that they have available there. There are 11 of them. But yeah, the living construct, which immune to disease, and you do not need to eat, breathe, sleep, or drink or sleep. Shard swarm. You can shatter yourself and move and reconstitute yourself, dealing a small amount of piercing damage to the creatures around you that slowly gets better as you get to higher levels. So yeah, it's actually a really cool one. I love the idea of the shattering thing. I had something like that in mind for something I'm gonna make. And you have resistance to psychic damage. It's similar to that. We're gonna get into that eventually, but hopefully, in the meantime, just go ahead and get this because he got to it first. He beat me to it with that feature. I have something similar. It's not gonna be the same though. It'll end up playing differently. This is 6 pages. I did download it. Murder mystery on Lightning Ryle. As it describes, it is a murder mystery. So I'm not even going to open it because there are spoilers on page 1, from what I could tell, and I don't want to spoil that for anyone. I didn't say the name of this one. Benjamin Huffman made the Shardmind. Awesome. By the way, yeah, I highly recommend this one. This is the Shardmind is grade A, top notch, like a full blown release. Maybe I should just speed through these things in the future and just say yes, no to every single supplement to get more viewers. I have no idea. But anyway, Murder Mystery on the Lightning Rail. Ty Da created this one. $0, absolutely free. Not any of that pay what you want stuff. They just said no, take it. It's free. It's $6. Or $6. 6 pages. I'll tell you right now, it's single column. So that's deceptive. If they did dual column, it may have been brought down to like 4 or 3 pages. But yeah, it's a little murder mystery. And like they say in the actual document, but I have to scroll down to see it. There it is. Actually, they put it here. Author note: this is more or less just a speed of thought for thought on a small story arc. Could be a one shot. Could be incorporated into something else if you want. Just use portions of it. That's totally cool. That's actually fairly accurate. I saw the way it was built. It was built almost more like DM notes, so that you could throw it into anything else you want to do whenever you want. So it may be worth picking up here, and it's free. So go ahead. This one is by Christopher Harding. This one was comped to me, so we can take a better look at it. Hermit Crab Player Race. This one is more from this title's contributions, Nightmares Made Flesh, and some other ones like Ire on the Wilds, The Covetous Serpent. This one's 4 pages, and looking at the Hermit Crab Player Race, I think this one was comp to me. Yeah, it is. Looking at it in detail, let's go into the description. Oh, hey, Christopher, if you're watching, warning, you've got a 404 not found thing on your preview. I might try and tweet that at you because I do have your Twitter, but I'm gonna have to find out if I can do that after this show. But yeah, we're gonna switch to the actual PDF really quick because I wanted to point out that this photograph, a lot of people don't get the ones with photographs on them because they feel like they're unprofessional. But I want to get you past that really quick and show you that photograph is just for the supplement, to get it out there. This is, in fact, a very well done thing here. He's got legal about the, bio. It's very well done. He has his own like sort of Xanathar guide style page thing. He named them Pagurians or Pagurians. I'm not entirely certain which of those is correct pronunciation, but that is to me a cooler name than Hermit Crab Player Race, and I feel like maybe putting the name on the cover as well, maybe Pagurians or whatever, and then put that the Hermit Crab Playable Race as a subtitle, because this is very cool. I like how this plays out. Think turtle, but maybe if everybody's like, I want to be a turtle, I want to be a turtle, you can be like, well, wait, hold on, come take a look at this playable race. And they come in natural armor, shell defense, dark vision, so it's very much like a turtle. Sunlight sensitivity. They've got these claws which can then grapple whenever they hit, and they're amphibious. It's very cool. I'm not going to try and out the thing completely because I don't know how much of a preview he was intending on getting, but basically, yeah, Hermit Crab Player Race. It's very cool. And well done. And if you like the turtle, you will like this one. I guarantee you. It's only 4 pages for $1. So yeah, that is not much. That's 25 cents a page. Just it's 20 cents a page rounded up to the nearest dollar, and that is fine. That is perfect for a playable race, and it's half the price you'll get if you buy a race on D&D Beyond. On D&D Beyond. So, there you go. Now this one's a Gunslinger class revised PDF and Fantasy Ground bundle. Now this is been out for a while. Oh, I already have that one up. Here we go. This one's been out for a while. I'm not going to go too much into it because it's just a bundle. You've probably heard of it before because it's very popular. 8 ratings, almost 5 stars, 4.6 stars rating. 15 pages, $3.95. The bundle bundles it with the Fantasy Grounds version, and brings it down from what would be $9.45 to $7.45. You save $2. But anyway, the point is that this one is if you like Matt Mercer's Gunslinger subclass, and you want to play a full-blown class, this is what you got to do. Go to the Gunslinger class, which, by the way, if it's silver here. Hey, Stratos Photakis. You should add that to your cover over here. Unless that's just me, maybe I need to clear my system cache or something on my internet, and it just needs to replace the cover file. But photo. But basically, yeah, that's it's a very well done class. It feels just as good as the one as Matt Mercer's. As far as I can see, obviously I can only see what's in the preview, which is only 5 pages. As far as I can see, it is just as good as Matt Mercer's subclass, but it is expanded into full-blown class, and yeah, and it's very similar to it. Borrows a lot from it. Okay, so Waterdeep Dragon Heist, Spring Vengeance, Kenna May, $1.95 for 19 pages. This one is another URL not found. That's unfortunate because I remember now that I did not get to look at this one. I was hoping I could pull it up. I thought maybe I just missed it, but yeah, no. So Fayday comes, but once a year, a day of revelry and fun as the veil between our world and the Feywild grows thinner than ever. There are extravagant parties all across the city of Waterdeep, with people dressed in fantastical costumes and alcohol flowing freely. And of course, the carnival is in town. But unfortunately, this year you'll be missing it. While the carnival parades all throughout the city, the 3 ships of the Sea Maidens Fair are relatively unguarded, which means blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I don't want to really, it starts going into somewhat spoiler, I guess, maybe. But basically, yeah, this one looks good. It's got good art for the cover. I don't know if that's original or from it doesn't say who the artist is, if it's from Creative Commons or anything like that. It probably would, because that would be proper citation. But yeah, anyway, $1.95 for a 19-page supplement adventure. That's great. Here's Dwarven Legacy, Rodrigo Quarton. This one is a shame that it's so far in the back because viewers are probably not going to, watch this far. But we're going to see. So $4.95. Rodrigo Quarton, I guess it's Querton. I don't know how to pronounce the last name. I'm terrible with names. Sorry about that. But this is all about dwarves, and it is really fantastic. Well, first off, this art is great. But and is the artist is a Dean Spencer, Ruben Ramos, and Rick Hershey. So yeah, this one has a couple of different dwarf it's got the Arctic dwarf subrace of dwarves with its own traits. It's got the Maleth, I assume that's how you pronounce it. And it's like a demonic dwarf, like a tiefling but like a dwarf, and they look more like dwarves than tieflings look like humans, so they're harder to catch. They've got really cool information on there too. They've got dwarven subclasses. These are subclasses that are restriction dwarves only, and there's a reason for that, is because mechanically they wouldn't have very much benefit toward doing anything else. They did send me the full supplement. They comped me the full copy, and it is looking at it in more detail. It is fantastic. I hope I just was showing you the website a minute ago, because I just realized that I did not hit the confirm button on there, and I don't know if it shows it or not. I'm going to find out soon whenever I review this video after. So the Arctic Dwarf Maleth, Dwarven subclasses: Barbarian, Path of the Battle Rager, Fighter, Dwarven Defender, Monk, Way of the Soul Blade, Paladin, Oath of the Forge Heart. These are all fantastic. I was looking at them. They're all well made, and I would 100% allow all of these at my table. The one thing about this, and it's not just because it's a comped copy, that's just a free thing for me, and I only get that because I'm reviewing it. I don't even have players who want to use this right now because we're in the middle of a campaign. But if we ever do, for example, run The Hobbit, all those dwarves are going to need some stuff to make them a little bit more interesting. They can't all be fighters and paladins and rangers, which is pretty much what they would fall into if you and rogues. If you wanted to make them a party, it'd be hard to do it without doubling up on something. But in this case, you've got plenty of options, and they're fantastic. And you've got dwarf feats to further separate them. Look at all these dwarven feats. I'm not going to show them because I don't want to show off their stuff to and like spoil anything for or not spoil, but give their stuff away for free by looking at it on my show. But I will show you this list there, and I will tell you that I looked at all of them, and they are fantastic, very well balanced. This is like professional stuff. They've got dwarves, Arctic dwarves, all Duragar, all these Duragar features. Hill dwarves, Maleths, and mountain. Maleths, by the way, are their own race. I believe they are not a subclass of dwarf, if I remember correctly. They have their own size explanation and everything. Scrolling down, making this thing load. Ugh. So yeah, they've got their own age and alignment and size and speed and dark vision, dark dwarven resilience. They don't have additional sub races, but they are their own sub race. So this is like a tiefling. This is literally something else completely. But yeah, so that is that. And it is fantastic. I can't praise it enough. $4.95, by the way. Rodrigo Quirton or Cuerton. I'm not entirely certain. Unfortunately, I'm bad with names. Jared Tolkien. There's a quote from Jared Tolkien. Look at that. 16 pages for $4.95 to enhance. You can play like your the novel series Dwarves would be great with this. And the Lord of the Rings, everything, the Hobbit, obviously as well. But yeah, so we're going to move on to the next one. Sea of Shadows. This is an adventure. Sea of Shadows is, I don't want to spoil anything, but it's very, very cool. This is they're their own artist. It's for 7th level adventure on the high seas, specifically for water. I think it immediately started spoiling things, if I remember correctly. Maybe not. No, this is just what's out there. But yeah, it's I don't want to spoil anything myself, so this is really cool. I'll let you know. It's like Adventures League quality or better, and it's 60 pages, but they're single column, so maybe more like 50 pages if you're used to official supplements. Only $1.20 for 60 pages for a high sea adventure. If you're running if you're running sea adventures, then there you go. This you can if it's a homebrew you're doing, this can add to it. You can always add in more islands, more monsters, more things like that to a high sea adventure. That's one of the beauties of them. So, The Merry Prankster by Rebecca Fincher. This one I don't want to even open for fear of spoiling things because its description at the beginning is designed, I believe, meant for the DM. If I'm wrong, then I am sorry about that, Rebecca. But yeah, it felt like it was to me. But the cover has a little bit of information here: 3 to 6 players of 2nd to 4th level characters. There are coins all over the ground in this town, and the people are acting very strangely about these coins, basically ignoring them, and the value of gold coin of their currency is depleting. I won't go much further than that for fear of spoiling anything, but it seems really fun. And it's 6 pages for $2.95. And if anyone's out there looking for a short adventure, a little 6-page thing for a little town, maybe you've got people traveling along the road, which would, hey, I've got a vehicle supplement out there. No. So if you're traveling along the road and you come to a town, this one, then you might come along and find this little adventure here. And then afterward, your players may fall in love with the town and end up want to stick around, in which case you can homebrew from there. But it's got a lot of interesting characters and interesting things going on, and I would definitely highly recommend this one. The Whaled. This one is fantastic. Frank Hackett. The last one, by the way, I may have undersold that. It's fantastic. I want to run this one. It looks really fun. But yeah, the Whaled. Frank Hackett has made this one. By the cover, you can tell the intent here is that this is Groot in high fantasy. Yes, that is accurate. It is a very cool little, and it's been play tested by multiple groups. It was art design and concept are all Frank Hackett at Master Monocle. Editing was done by Steve, Cat, and Paige. Balancing is the order of the War Goat. So there have been multiple eyes looking at this. That should reassure you that I am not just fooling you with all of these whenever I tell you that they're well made and I would allow them on my table. This one in particular, I would definitely allow on my table. And in fact, it's once again someone who didn't beat me to something this time. They came up with an idea that I considered but didn't go with for my Dewata playable race, and that is the photosynthetic. And that's awesome. I ended up opting to make it to where they were connected to the weave and they're feeding off of the latent magical energies around them, because I was worried for what they end up fully addressing in here, is that whenever you go into the Underdark or in a cave or in a castle or something like that, and you're stuck there for an extended period of time, you don't have the sunlight to feed off of. So they built their photosynthetic, feature based on that, took that into account, and you gain boosts. This is what this P stands for. Whenever you see this P, this happens, but only you get this, but only when you have fed on sunlight within the last 24 hours, I believe. But yeah, I believe it's within the last since the last long rest or something to that effect. So basically, yeah, you can take root, and then your roots get stronger. You can basically grabbing onto the ground. I could not see any farther than that because it is charged, and I couldn't get this one comped. I wish I did, because not only would I allow this at my table, and so my players would probably have fun with this if I got it comped, but so I might end up buying it because it's fantastic, or one of them will. Um, that's what I tend to do. Is I can't always afford to buy stuff, but if my player wants to play a playable race and I approve it, they're free to buy it themselves. So that's usually what happens. But in this case, yeah, I kind of wish I could see more, because so far this one's fantastic, very well balanced. It's got 11 pages. I don't know how much further it goes with that whole photosynthetic thing. Maybe they do become too powerful or over unbalanced. But the fact to me that it reassures me that that multiple people have had their eyes on this, and that to me is fantastic. So yeah. Anyway, Frank Hackett, $2.99 for 11 pages. By the way, I don't know for sure what's all in here. Let me see what the if it's got table of contents at the beginning, because if it does, it may tell me. Okay, this playable race may just be that much information, that big of a playable race, and if it is, then that's really cool. That's fantastic. Maybe it's got all these special stuff, or it may be that they did like what I did with my Dewata, which is they might have included special spells maybe they have access to or something like that. Like in my Dwad, I have one of those. Or they may have included stat blocks for these so that a dungeon master can actually pull these in and play them in. That's also what I do with my Dwada, and I think that all playable races should do that, because if it's a unique race, the dungeon master needs to know how to use them too. So throw them in, yeah. And then $2.99 for 11 pages. That's a good deal. I mean, usually 20 cents per page. 11 pages would be that's a little bit higher than 15 pages would be $3. So it's a little too high for some, but $2.99 for now. Maybe eventually Frank will drop the price a little bit or something, or do a discount or something to that effect. But anyway, is the last one, The Stone Vault by Darren Campbell. It's $3.99 for 10 pages. I believe this one is a 2-stage scalable dungeon. This is something that it's a dungeon master's tool to create a dungeon and rearrange the rooms however they want based on the rooms that are in here. And it's very well done. It may be it's 10 pages, so it's not like it's skimping you on anything. It's what you would need to do it. And I look forward to maybe this becoming a series from the creator, and maybe next time, additional types instead of stone vault, maybe it's a different kind of dungeon, and we'll see other types of rooms and other kinds of flavor coming in that we can actually see. We might be able to combine them together to make our own dungeons, and it might be something along the lines of like it might start to feel like building your own dungeon in like a Legend of Zelda game or something. Who knows? But basically, since they do that whole room thing with their special traps and all that kind of stuff, it might be similar to that. Who knows? Maybe we will be able to recreate those dungeons with this. But anyway, this one in particular is very well done. I look forward to it becoming a series. I hope it will. If it doesn't, then that's fine. But the thing about it is that it actually goes really well with another one I reviewed, and I don't remember if this was in the messed up episode that ended up becoming episode 00 on YouTube. But and so it may have been lost, my review for it. But there was another one that came out recently that was for making a town, and it had how to make NPCs, it had tables and all sorts of things to roll on, and it was very cool, very creative, very awesome in my opinion. And this one goes along with that one really well, and I would imagine that if you were to run, if you wanted to run a campaign where you're just creating things on the fly randomly as you go, or rather more like improv, rather I say random, but it's an improv. I've done that once for a one shot, using the guide at the end of the Dungeon Master's Guide about how to create a randomly generated dungeon, and it's really well done. I really liked it. We had a lot of fun. I mean, obviously my players gave me a little bit of leeway, and I messed up a few times or whatever, or was a little bit too vague, or had to I think we retconned something at one point that went back like 5 minutes in game or something, because I said something stupid. I did something that was like that I was following the instructions wrong in the random generator thing, and it ended up making the dungeon not make any sense. And then I had to go back, and I found out that if I did it right, it fixed it. But anyway, the point is that the Stone Vault is fantastic, and I believe that you could use this in conjunction with the one in the Dungeon Masters Guild, as a guide. Like whenever you go, okay, well, I've randomly generated a room with there, rather than randomly generating I've randomly generated a hallway that goes to a room, it's this size, rather than going with the randomly generated thing in this description in the Dungeon Master's Guide, I'm going to plop one of these rooms in, and I'm going to base it off of this room. And I think it can be used in conjunction with that very well. And I suggest, if you like the idea of improv sessions, which are very fun, I have, after having done it, I can tell you, this is 10 pages for $3.99. Darren Campbell, that's pretty good. I mean, if it was 20 cents per page, maybe that's a little much. But basically, yeah, it's very well done, and kudos. Anyway, yeah, that's the last one. This episode definitely went way longer than any previous one, an hour and 13 minutes. Maybe I spent too much time on the supplements. Let me know what you think. This show is still new. I'm still trying it. I'm getting a lot of traction from creators being interested in me continuing it, but I may have to somehow chop it down to 20 minutes every single time, which means much weaker reviews, just telling people if I like your supplement or not. I don't know if that's even, if people are going to listen to me if I just do that. I don't know. We'll find out. Anyway, thank you for watching if you've watched this far. And I look forward to the next episode and to my other shows and my supplements online. Thank you, and bye-bye.